match, and you stand a chance to win some gifts.
Yeah, based on what I've heard, some of those mystery gifts might even be an epic skin. So please show your support as we jump into the drafting phase to kick off game number 1. Team LINATIX on the blue side, Red Esports on the red side.
So far, now that we are 2 weeks into MPL Season 10, we can definitely see how much of an impact that the drafting phase is having in the game as a whole. A lot of these teams are really upping their standards, upping their game, and it's become a lot more competitive from how tight some of these series have been. And because of that, because of how well matched these players are in terms of skill, having a good lineup makes a world of difference.
Yeah, and I've been talking about this, we've been talking about this a lot in previous seasons, that lane control is about whether or not you can get that first rotation. What can you translate that control into? And the draft really predetermines that before the game even starts. Based on what we're seeing so far, Team LINATIX, they're banning out the Masha, they're banning out the Wanwan, Red Esports respond by banning out Valentina, as well as banning out the Fanny. Priority being held by LINATIX so far. Do they want to get rid of the Akai or take it for themselves?
It is a good question here, because if we look at the junglers on the side of both teams, Amal as well as Zayed, this is a rare matchup where both junglers are known for exclusively playing more assassin-type heroes. We really don't see Amal or Zayed play tank heroes, and even rarely we see them play fighters as well. So assassins are going to be heavily prioritized here since LINATIX has priority. They ban out the Ling as well, and the fact that they banned out the Wanwan does seem to indicate that Mint may not be comfortable with this hero.
Possibly here. I was going to bring up Farmis because we know that Team LINATIX like to ban it out when they are on the red side, but even Red Esports are giving that respect, saying, no, we don't want to deal with the Cult Altar, we don't like the temp HP, we want to be able to punish you wholeheartedly. Akai gets locked in for the side of Team LINATIX, and you mentioned that Emal specifically likes to play around these assassins, so Akai possibly in the EXP lane and the support lane.
Indeed, I do feel like it's more likely going to be Yamichi playing it as a roamer, but instantly Red Esports counter with the Diggy, the bane of Akai players everywhere. Time Journey means that heavy spin does nothing, and once again, returning to their old habits, the carry heavily prioritized by Red Esports in the first phase.
Benedetta gets locked in. I saw a hover over Yi Shen. I'd be very excited to see Yi Shen come back because, again, after the changes to the jungle, technically marksman junglers are allowed to play the game. Yes, they still are generally weak to assassins, but I think it's fair to say that having some form of scaling, especially in a power farming jungler like Yi Shen, would be cool to see. But instead, they're leaning more towards Beatrix. Let's secure the gold lane first.
We actually haven't seen a lot of Mint Beatrix just yet. But again, Team LINATIX have only played 1 match so far, so maybe it is something that Mint is alright with. Red Esports gonna be completing off their first phase with the Esmeralda, pretty classic Ren QT hero. But the Benedetta from Team LINATIX is interesting. I feel like they did pick this hero specifically to make sure that Zayed wouldn't be able to play it.
Yeah, I think it's a good shout, and I think more importantly here, this does give a option for Emal specifically to go for a pseudo-tanky build on the Benedetta, because most of the time when we've seen Benedetta, she hasn't been built full damage just yet. Most of the time it's, hey, take the Demon Slayer, build a whole bunch of tank items, get in and out of fights fast.
Akido gonna be banned out by Team LINATIX as well as the Dirov from Red Esports. The Dirov makes sense. They already have the Esme, want to make sure NQT has a comfortable lane. And they actually even banned the Khalid as well, so they want to make sure that their EXP lane will retain control. And this is what we mentioned earlier. Maintaining rotations over the map, countering enemy movement is coming from being able to at least go even in lane. So Red Esports are just eliminating all lane dominators from the EXP side.
I think that's fair, and I do have a sneaking suspicion that Red Esports might try and pull out a Thamos jungle this time around. That'd be very cool to see coming in from Zayed. But let's not forget that Julian is kind of wide open here, and Red Esports being on the red side have that priority.
That is interesting. It's quite a thing to kind of realize that after the recent update, Julian's damage has been nerfed so much that he's actually no longer a priority pick or ban for a lot of these teams. You still see him here and there, still very strong. But it's very interesting to note how quickly teams have veered away from what used to be a very popular hero, even a Lancelot being the final ban for LINATIX.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, I was excited to see Lancelot personally, but hey, it's Red Esports. They still have many more options to go with. We've seen Zayed play Julian before, but instead they're going to be locking in the Lilia first before anything else.
Okay, and that does make sense for Red Esports. They want to make sure that Rain won't have access to this hero, and it's just a very safe mage overall, since they're not too certain what they're up against just of yet. Ashe so far has been playing a very consistent mid lane, so I'm expecting this to work out well for them. When you combine that to the fact that Red Esports have the time journey, this is going to be a very difficult lineup to break through for LINATIX, but they're going to start things off with the Yu Zong.
Okay, all right, Yu Zong. That, I don't know how effective it's going to be with the time journey as a whole, but as soon as that time journey is gone, there are a lot of ways for Team LINATIX again to the fight. And even locking in the Harith. Oh yeah, we are playing on the 1.07 patch.
Oh, Harith gonna finally be making his debut in the Land of Dawn, not just in this season, but I think in many seasons. We have not seen this hero, but he was just recently buffed in the patch that came out a few days ago, doing more damage with Synchro Vision now, getting more shield from his Chrono Dash as well. I'm curious to see whether or not this will work out, and will this be a mid lane Harith as well?
Yep, I'm hearing a lot of ooh and ahs in the audience already, and it's the Hayabusa, the famed Hayabusa that helped Zayed rise in popularity during his run in Season 9. This is going to be some fun stuff. Personally, I think right now Team LINATIX, their composition is very they have a good amount of damage here. The Harith is the big question mark for me because we haven't seen it in a very long time. But Red Esports, this feels like their classic lineup.
Yeah, this is a comfortable lineup for Red Esports. Good scaling, good ways to counter initiation from the opposite side as well. And if I'm not wrong, I saw at the end of that draft that Harith is staying on Amal. So this could be a jungle Harith and a mid lane Benedetta. Not confirmed yet, but we will see as we enter the Land of Dawn soon. Team LINATIX has a very interesting lineup, very mobile, wants the team fight heavily, but the time journey on the side of Red Esports is gonna make that difficult, and they're gonna be playing around skirmishing and kiting out the members of Team LINATIX so that they cannot fight together. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be our first game of the day as we now prepare to enter the Land of Dawn. Make sure to show these teams your support because they are going to need it as they go head to head.
Welcome to the first BO3 of day number 2 here at week number 2 at the MPL MY Season 10. We have Team LINATIX on the blue side and Red Esports on the red side. Now, a lot of the questions that are being asked here is whether or not TL is going to be able to bait out or at the very least waste that time journey early on in a team fight and then look to re-engage while minimizing their damage. It's not an easy task to do.
In addition to that, Red Esports have picked up 3 sprints on their lineup, so they're just going to be trying to avoid fighting at all here. We do also have confirmation. Rain is playing that mid lane Benedetta. Yamichi trying to disrupt the purple buff, but he is getting surrounded here.
Yep, he's in some trouble. RenQT is trying to get hold of him, but Goldilocks is going to proc his passive to ensure that he pushes him away. Can he steal the purple buff here? No. TL is just going to back off, and that means that they are denying early aggression, but notice that Mural, he's just playing on that top side. Mint unfortunately can't take full advantage of Beatrix being so strong in the early game.
Yeah, Beatrix should definitely be dominating a lane against carry, but just look at these auto alarm bombs. So annoying. Mint cannot walk up anywhere near lane, and this is allowing Maul to get a very comfortable early head start, already level 3 over his opponent.
Now, looking at how the lanes are going, and even with the sub-emblems, a lot of movement speed being picked up by the side of Red Esports. They want to get in and out of that fight, but with mid lane control, Zayed unfortunately can't really make his way into the river very comfortably, considering that it's Benedetta and Akai.
Yeah, that's not very ideal for Zayed, considering that Hayabusa wants to be able to start ganking once he hits around that level 4 mark, but I don't think Red Esports minds this too much because they are having pretty comfortable side lanes overall. Goldilocks still gonna come out on top in the EXP lane in terms of EXP earned, but RenQT, as long as he can remain even, he's fine.
I think this is some really good timing from Team LINATIX as they chase down Ren QT, making sure that he gets zoned off. Zayed, unfortunately, can't go for the top gank, but instead tries to steal it away and is able to take away the turtle. First turtle of the game going over to Red Esports.
Beautiful timing from Zayed Hakimi right there, timing the Shadow Shuriken to make sure that he would be in retry range. And unfortunately, this is one of the weaknesses of Harif as a jungler. His early game is even weaker than heroes like Hayabusa, who definitely don't have the best starts. So it's going to be difficult for him to contest these objectives until he gets a 1 or 2 items.
Goldilocks doing some really good trading against Ren QT, who's running out of mana. Goldilocks has out-sustained him for now, but I think they have to be careful, right? The gold lane getting attacked pretty heavily, but with the timings that Team LINATIX is taking advantage of, hey, we need to take the turtle, go for a recall, you're a little low, we can't afford for you to get dove under turret, and therefore, now we're going to shift our attention to that top side until turtle spawns.
You can see there's a lot of pressure on LINATIX to make this happen. Rain now jumping in, but Miral is constantly attached to Mal's side, making sure that the carry is safe. Yamichi low, forced the pop. Heavy spin to make sure Zayed can't get the kill. And Amal gonna get pulled back, meaning that he has no HP to re-engage. Rain going in, he sees that. Oh! Miral gonna drop as the first blood over to Team LINATIX.
Nicely played by Rain here. He was going on his little solo adventure, trying to zone off the rest so they could not press an advantage against Amal. I don't think Red Esports was gonna go for it, but Miral losing his battle spell on top of his life, very well worth it. Amal now trying to get rid of Ren QT here. Unfortunately, the Salmon Force being popped. He's got more than enough damage. One more Chrono Dash will put him out of his misery. As the Frostboot heal comes out, Goldilocks with a single knockback tries and saves the day. Team LINATIX walk away with a kill.
That was pretty close for comfort, though. We do know that historically, Esmeralda counters Harif simply because she can deal damage through the shields. And he actually got pretty close to taking out Amal in his own jungle. Luckily, the rotation from Goldilocks was enough to make sure that he survived that. And that's a very important timing because it ensures that the Harif is alive for the next turtle spawn.
I mean, speaking of timing, where was Ashe in that fight? I mean, if that was going to happen, hold on, Miral getting attacked, using his ultimate as well, ends up dying once more as Myth was able to get the shots off. Yamichi looking to lock down Mal, and he finds the heavy spin of a lifetime. Mal still manages to get out of there just in time with Ashe to back him up to protect this turret. Team LINATIX forced to back away as Miral comes back to life, and that is going to be that.
A good retreat from Team LINATIX. Luckily for Red Esports, they weren't able to pick off the carry. Zayed using that information that most of LINATIX is in the top lane to secure a turtle for Red Esports. However, we can see that the net worth right now is very even, basically no difference at all.
Let's also not forget that Mal was able to get out of an awkward heavy spin angle by using his Phantom Step actually to get into a spot where he gets knocked away and instead of getting knocked towards a wall. I don't know how hard he spammed that because you would have to buffer that pretty consistently.
I imagine there's definitely a sense of panic, but at the same time, for a lot of these players, they're going to be used to those sort of situations. Yamichi, though, taking a lot of damage. I'm pretty sure he just walked into an entire pile of bombs. Zaman Force popped by Amal. He's going for Miral. He's going to be able to get it, but now Yamichi aimed down by Ashe. Gonna get taken out. Ashe wants to chase him down, but Black Shoes forces him to retreat. Amal doing a lot of damage. Here comes Rencuti, though. Disrupts the recall. Harif might be in danger. Diggy keeping vision, and the kill going over the Maul with that final auto attack.
Oh, and even if he didn't die there, Zai would have cleaned things up. Nicely played for the side of Red Esports to punish the initial dive onto Miral. Like, they're trying to farm him as much as they can to try and speed up their early game. But here we go, another engagement as the time journey is popped. The Black Dragon form going to scale right behind them. He sees Zai, he sees Ashe. Goldilocks understands that he's in some trouble now, gets pulled back by the first time, and it's going to be the Oki shadow kill to put him out of his misery. Mal picks up another for himself, and Team LINATIX forced to back off.
Beautifully played by Red Esports there. There is just a difference in experience from that engagement. You can see that Team LINATIX, they tried to wait out the time journey with the Black Dragon form because they knew that once it ran out, they could actually make the engage. But Red Esports pulled him so out of position that Goldilocks wasn't sure if he should continue the engagement or not. And once the decision was made, it was too late. Miral managing to keep him in place to secure the kill for his side.
I think it was a good idea coming in from Goldilocks. I probably would have went for it as well. However, the moment you see Ashe there and you see 4 people, you probably should back off. And Yamichi probably doing the exact same thing, but unfortunately, Carry just cuts through a tank like butter.
Yamichi trying to delay Red Esports in order to make sure his team can take the turtle safely. He succeeded, but giving his life away in exchange may not be worth. Now we can see Red Esports making an attempt on Mint. Rain gonna be able to stop that, but forced to use his ultimate to get away from 4 members of Red Esports. As now, Zayed even doing a little bit more poke damage with his ult.
Yep, they are still playing for Mal. They've already broken that top side, and they're probably going to do a cheeky lane swap down bot, but Emal is going to clear this lane up, help his team to catch up, and make sure that the rotations are going to be clean. Don't forget that Benedetta is really fast on this, so I expect a little bit of support on bottom side.
I'm definitely impressed so far with Rain's performance on the Benedetta. Definitely a very high mechanic hero, considering that usually he would play mages. And we can see he's actually going for a really heavy damage Blade of Heptases on the Benedetta.
Yeah, you don't get to see that too often, and he's building into the Molten Core. I'm assuming he's going to go for that Curse Town to help him speed up his wave clear. Now, Red, as expected, on the bottom side of the map here, and Team LINATIX responds shortly after. Yamichi face checks, gets chunked, but he knows and has all the information his team needs.
We can see now that this is quite dangerous for Team LINATIX, though. Even Yamichi cannot safely face check bushes simply because of how much damage Mal has. 2-0 and 2 on the carry so far, a 2k net worth advantage for Red Esports. We mentioned that Team LINATIX, they need to be the ones controlling the tempo when they're up against this team, but so far, the ones in control are Red.
Yep, Yamichi now going to die under the turret here unless RNG saves his life, and unfortunately, there wasn't enough stacks for the Oki Shadow kill to get and finish off Yamichi. Now, Red Esports, they know that he has the recall. Can they take advantage of this timing? 4 more seconds until the turtle spawns, but now they go for the mid lane fight. Lecto final blow is out as Zayed uses the time to shove the mid lane, but notice that bot side about to crack.
As well, Goldilocks pushing the top side. Zaman Force from Amal, he wants to go on Mal, but he's get pushed back. The damage from Ashe secures the kill. Yamichi in danger, and QD pick up the kill onto the Akai. Goldilocks too far to provide any assistance, and Mint chased back to his base means that Red will get started on this lore.
Very deadly combo here, and especially when Lilia does it again. When you're trying to kite a Lilia, as soon as she hits that first Shadow Ball, you might be in a little bit of trouble. But when you get locked down by the versing time, you're in even more. Now Goldilocks, can he survive the Oki Shadow kill? He takes so much, but still sustains just enough to survive. With Lord crashing, with Lord empowered minions coming on every lane, Red Esports want to break mid-tier 1.
This is dangerous for Team LINATIX. A single Oki Shadow kill nearly killing a Yu Zong is never a situation you want to be in. You want him to be able to survive that comfortably. And now Red continuing to press the advantage. They know they have the control over the map. They're going to make sure that Team LINATIX just gets no farm at all for the next few minutes.
Yep. I think they're going to lose the outer turrets here. And I don't know if they want to defend it or let it go, but Rain, he takes a significant amount of damage to try and clear that bot side. He has one more wave to deal with. However, Red Esports, you can see what their eyes have been set upon. They're realizing a lot of resistance down by the mid lane, so they try and attack the back line. Mint taking way too much damage than he should, as Zayed is already out with the quad shadows as mid-tier 2 falls. Now, if they get an inhibitor, this could mean everything for Red Esports. Rain jumps into the fight as the Black Dragon form will zone the rest off. Goldilocks probably doesn't want to make the same mistake again as they back away. Outer turrets succeeded. Red Esports have taken 3 turrets.
I think we have to know just how cleanly Red Esports made that play. They used the Oki Shadow kill not necessarily to get a kill, but to force Team LINATIX to stand together with Mint, meaning that they can't defend the mid push, giving them a free tier 2 tower. The AI right now gonna be predicting a 75% win rate for Red Esports. Things are not looking good for Team LINATIX.
Red Esports are in great position with a 6k gold lead. Team LINATIX haven't even hit that 32k power spike. Red Esports have a very small window right now, but they can't do too much. If they get picks, that would be amazing. But Team LINATIX, Goldilocks, unfortunately, is going to be the pick of the century as Yamichi jumps in. The heavy spin doing nothing as the time journey saves alive. Oki Shadow kill takes out Harith, but a triple coming in from Mal himself. A double coming in from Mint as he's able to find a few back, but they've already traded up, and Red Esports with a man advantage, taking 4 for 2, are looking to crack open an inhibitor. They lose their siege minion, a little sad, but Mid-wave going to crash in. 5 more seconds until Goldilocks is back.
Red Esports still wants to pile on the pressure. They know Mint is the only one alive. Yamichi joining him, but they've already taken their first inhibitor. Will easily walk away. A beautiful engagement from Red Esports, picking up Goldilocks and then saving the time journey. Yamichi definitely made a wrong decision there to try and jump in, and Miral instantly snapped up on the opportunity.
Yep, I mean, Red Esports, they have priority. If they have the pick, you just have to let it happen. And unfortunately for Goldilocks, there's nothing much he could really do there except to not be overextended in the mid lane, away from the safety of his mid turret.
Right now, though, the Lord gonna be spawning up yet again. It feels like it was so soon ago that the Lord was just pushing down the base of Team LINATIX, and it's already back. That's how much Red Esports were able to achieve with that first Lord of the game. They'll be able to take it easily. Team LINATIX are now forced into a hyper defensive position.
Yep, and this is honestly not looking good with the 7K gold lead and Red Esports now at 42K to Team LINATIX 35K. That 8K gold difference is going to mean a full item here, at the very least for... Oh, he didn't take Mystery Shop. He went for Magic Worship, so he isn't going to get his 4th item. He only has 3, but he's got the Ice Queen's Wand, which is very, very good.
Yeah, just some utility items on the Lilia is more than enough, considering the damage that's going to be coming out of the Hayabusa and the carry. Maul now 5-0, already getting his final item. He's maxed out, and this could be the final push.
Here it is, with the Luminous Lore going to be crashing into the base. Electo final blow to look to slow things down. They lose all their inhibitors as now Ren QT looks to push him. Goldilocks tries his best with a Black Dragon form to get into that backline, but the Monster Kills already accepted his fate. Carry with a double kills Goldilocks as well, and that is going to be game. Red Esports take away game number 1.
A clean victory from Red Esports, securing early game momentum and then keeping control over it. Heroes, now he just needs to be able to work well under pressure, strategize with the team, and hopefully that's going to be enough as we enter the drafting phase for game number 2.
Shout out to you, Coach Iman, for giving some insight onto email from Team LINATIX. Once again, Team LINATIX going to be on the blue side with Red Esports on the red side. Love the color coordination. 1-1 going to be the first ban.
Looks like this does kind of confirm Mint doesn't want to play the 1-1. That's going to be interesting information, not just for Red Esports, but for every other team in the league as well, considering how popular and how strong this marksman is in the current meta. Fanny obviously going to be banned out by Red as well. Interestingly enough, they're not going for the Valentina ban first, but I'm pretty sure they're still going to get rid of it regardless.
They're going to get to it eventually here, and I think for blue side banning out the 1-1 isn't too bad, because let's not forget that in the meta right now, even though you have like 1 or 2 OP picks, it's not going to completely take control over the game. We've seen Valentina games where she goes 0-3 but still is relevant in the later stages of the game as well. There is a sort of team building aspect. This is almost like Magic Chess, where you need to have the right composition to get the right synergies.
Indeed. With them banning out the Masha as well, Team LINATIX have kind of maintained the same sort of bans we saw from them in game number 1, with the exception of the Akai. So they've actually decided to ban it out this time, even though they were the ones picking up in the previous game. Obviously, they don't want to give Red Esports an easy solution in the Diggy right now. So Red is going to have the choice of what the final hero they want to ban out is. What is a problem coming out of Team LINATIX here?
I think they might just ban out the Farmis again. Julian was untouched last game, but we might be able to see him this game. Farm is going to be the same ban for the side of Red Esports, as Team LINATIX now have first pick here. Let's see where they go.
Where would they go here? You might want to pick up something. Oh, right. The lane gonna get led through the draft. Team LINATIX banned this themselves in game number 1, so now they realize that they need a hero that has control, has mobility, will be able to exert map pressure. Red Esports, they really like this carry, picking it up in the first phase again, as well as the Lolita. Just a really good flex roam pick here. They know that whether or not Miral wants to stick with Maul or roam around, Lolita can do it all.
Yeah, I think as of right now, carry has a lot of, well, how do I put this? there's a scale, right? It's either you go towards the left side of the scale, which is high burst damage, like Beatrix for an example, or high sustained damage, which is more to the right. Carry is right in the middle here, but Team LINATIX, this is interesting. They go for the Kadita as well as the Khalid. That's a lot of burst damage on top of the Ling. We're not seeing frontliners just yet.
Right now, I feel like I have to say that this is going to be a point of intimidation for Team LINATIX because Khalid is Goldilocks' signature hero. He makes miracles happen with this Khalid. He buys so much space, distracts the enemy really, really well. And I'm very interested to see whether or not he will be able to replicate that sort of performance considering the consistency of Red Esports' team fight.
Well, I want to see whether or not it's going to... well, is he tempered metal or is he brittle? I'm not entirely sure. I haven't seen too much of the gameplay coming in from Goldilocks on the Khalid specifically, but Red Esports, they really need to consider their options here. Yu Song, great pick coming in from Red Esports. Ren QT refuses to give Goldilocks a good matchup. It's still a skill matchup, though.
It is a pretty 50-50 matchup here. I think Khalid will still have slight advantage in the first few levels, but has to be careful not to take long trades against the Yuzong. And this is actually quite interesting. We have seen Ren QT play the Yuzong many times in the past, but it has not been part of his regular roster for a very long time.
Yep. Let's see if he can still do the magic. So it's going to be on both sides. The EXP lane is going to be quite exciting here, but let's look at the second phases of the bans. Kicking things off, Red Esports bans out the Brody specifically. All right, that's interesting. If they're banning out the Brody, I wouldn't be too surprised if they also decided to get rid of Beatrix as well, maybe even Clint?
I'm wondering if Beatrix is worth eliminating here when they already have a Lita and a Yuzong that can jump him quite easily, but I think that is probably the better choice as compared to Clint because it's going to be a little harder to deal. Oh! I think
what?
I believe that is a focus ban against Yamichi. I believe I've heard from some people he is very good with this Edith.
I mean, sure, but also why? Why? I know that Yamichi does play the Edith. That is fact, but I don't see the reasoning behind it. Is he that good to the point where it's like, I gotta make sure you feel uncomfortable? Because Yamichi has played Kufra before, and I would say Kufra has more of an impact than Edith.
But in this case, Kufra is actually not so ideal because yes, while it counters heroes like the Yuzong, it's very vulnerable if he doesn't catch out the carry. In comparison, Edith can really hard focus one individual down and deal quite a bit of damage herself with that Primal Wrath. So I think Red Esports wants to prevent Team LINATIX from having flexible heroes that can both disable and dish out damage.
Why not just Jawhead then?
Because Jawhead is not good right now. It's kind of sad, but...
It's a bit sad. I'm not going to lie. He is a bit sad. He's a huge sandbagger in pubs, but I think Team LINATIX are on the right idea, banning out the Paquito. Red Esports are going to start off the second phase picks with the Sicilian scaling. Very interesting. Very interesting.
So Red Esports right now are confident that they will be able to hit the late game here, and they do like this sort of shift. They know that they're going to be playing a more aggressive EXP lane with the Yuzong, so Ash will play safer, but Team LINATIX are going to pick up the Cho, most likely in the roam position here to pick off these squishy backliners.
I like that. I think that's more viable of a ban than Edith, to be perfectly honest with you, but hey, this is between the two teams. They've done their research on each other. They know a lot more than I do. But Team LINATIX now need to finish off their composition. We still haven't seen a marksman just yet. And it looks like it's going to be Irithel this time round. So Team LINATIX, very heavy burst composition that they have. If their initiation isn't followed up quickly, Red Esports can turn things around super fast. They've got a lot of disengage mechanics. And I think Ash is going to be very comfortable in his matchup against the Kadita.
Absolutely, but we know that Rain is most likely going to be roaming around to try and secure kills with the rest of his teammates rather than just going head-to-head against the Sicilian, because there's just not too much point going for that right now. So in terms of the draft from Team LINATIX, definitely going for a higher tempo composition as compared to game number 1, and definitely safer as well. But it does also put a lot of pressure on them again to make sure that they do not lose out the early game.
I think a lot of the pressure is going to be going on to Yamichi and as well as Mint, because they're going to be the, the forerunners. Mint specifically has to reach that late stage of the game and get so far ahead of Red Esports to burst them all down. Red Esports is going to be locking in the Julian. Finally, we get to see the Julian right at the very end, and I think this is absolutely great because Julian has that flexibility of playing early as well as the later stages. He's going to be relevant throughout the game.
Indeed, Red Esports, their team composition is looking very balanced right now, but Team LINATIX also has a very scary early to mid game. Their late game scaling is not bad, but we know that Red Esports are the masters of late game team fights, so preferably Team LINATIX do not drag it out to that point. Right now, Red Esports are 1 game up over the newbies here on stage. Will they be able to bring things to a 1-1 tie and show these veterans what they truly have? Team LINATIX, really strong composition, going much for skirmishes, going for pickoff, lots of burst damage. Red Esports, good balance, good early game, good late game. This is exactly the kind of lineup you hope for when you play MLBB. So this is going to be a game worth watching as we enter the land of dawn.
Welcome back, everybody, and immediately we're seeing engagements coming in from both sides here. They're trying to take control over the mid lane, and this is something that they need to do because if we're talking about Ashe versus Rain, their matchup is heavily in Ashe's favor. You can't outpush me, therefore I'm just going to hold you hostage in lane and build up my stacks. RenQ team as well as Goldilocks already looking for an early engagement to proc that Sha residue. RenQ has now successfully won that lane.
Yeah, that's just instantly the lane shifting in favor of the Yuzong. When you play a Khalid, especially with high and dry, you need to win that first trade. But here in the mid lane, a huge gank 3-man gonna secure first blood onto Miro, and Ashe follows up. Double kill going over to Amal.
Perfect. That's what you want to see from the LINATIX. They want to control that mid side, and if they're able to punish both of them, that is cash money. Now, let's see how they translate this, because now that Khadita's unlocked from her lane, she's looking to back up Yamichi to look for this huge kill on design. Can they finish it off? No! He's trying to get out of there, and he makes it. Rain still trying to chase him, misses the abilities, but now they're on the run as Ashe is here to back them up as reinforcements. Unfortunately for Team LINATIX, they couldn't get that kill on Zayed.
But I still think it's pretty worth for LINATIX. They're able to chase him out. They're able to threaten him in his own jungle, and we have to note, Amal is already 2-0, so that is a pretty big lead for the Team LINATIX jungler here. Goldilocks gonna be making up that EXP difference. Now actually level 4 before RenQ as well.
RenQ has been taking good trades against Goldilocks, but he sacrificed EXP for it. Oh, good move coming in with the Raging Sandstorm just before he makes connection with Zayed.
Mint could be in danger here. I'm not sure if he's aware Miral is in that bush, but based on his positioning, he's probably aware that the Lolita is nearby, not going to take the risk. Rain now gonna get started on the turtle, setting things up for Amal as Yamichi provides vision over the Red Esports jungle.
They know exactly what's going on here with Goldilocks in a good position. RenQ starts off with the Black Dragon form, sees how it's going. It looks like they make the call to back off and give up this first initial turtle. However, bot side looks to be attacked right now as RenQ now in some trouble as the Tempest plays as well as the Way of the Dragon to ensure his death. That is going to be Goldilocks picking up the kill.
Massive wins to Team LINATIX, securing the turtle, securing a kill on RenQ, and even avoiding Mint dying to the 2-man gank on bottom side. And now Zayed gonna get caught out. Rough waves. Will it be enough? No!
What?
He survives with the enhanced sword. Ashe wants to pick up Rain, but the passive comes online, so he will be alive there.
Oh my goodness, I thought the Magic Worship was going to burn him down, but RenQ jumps in, and the Sha residue actually securing the kill onto Khalid. Amal backs off, goes back to power farming, but look at bot side, the engagement is about to occur. Yamichi sees it, but Miro tells his gold laner to back away, don't get involved just yet.
That last trade was just a mistake by Goldilocks. He calculated the amount of time it would take for that knockup to occur, and that meant that he stayed within tower range for that one last tower shot, securing his death. Not ideal for LINATIX, but they are still in control. They've already taken all the gold shield from top side.
Well, they're looking for a possible engagement onto Yamichi here, but again, it is going to be a Cho, usually not an ideal target, and he has plenty of ways to escape the CC, so they back off and look for another lane to punish. I think RenQT is now at an okay position against Goldilocks. He just wants to control this lane as much as he can, but with the next turtle coming up in about 27 seconds, hopefully Team LINATIX successfully pull off this dive.
They're now jumping onto the bottom side. 4 members of LINATIX. Red ESPORTS trying to respond. Rain gonna find him in the back line. Maul out of position. Instantly executed by the rough waves. Yamichi, he's looking for Ash. He gets the kick onto the Sicilian into the Tempest of Blades. 2-man Numenon Blast means nothing because all your DPS is dead. But they do get the pick off onto Mint in the back line. So that's a 2-for-1 trade.
Oh boy, it is getting rowdy here in the arena. Miro holding onto the lane as long as he can, as the rest of the team of LINATIX are going to be rotating towards that turtle side to kick things off. RenQT taking a really bad trade here, and he is gone. Execute as Goldilocks is able to get the solo kill in the EXP lane.
That's how he is on the signature hero right there. I think a lot of fans have been looking forward to seeing the Khalid in his hands right now, and we're instantly seeing proof of why it should be feared. But now Mint gonna be ganked by 3 members of Red. No chance for the Irritel to escape.
I was wondering where the rest of Red Esports was after that solo kill, but it looks like they were making money moves here as the River Crab going to be contested. Yamichi hovering over here, but Zaya using the enhanced sword to not only take the River Crab. Oh, he tried to take the River Crab, but Yamichi got it at the end of the day. A little sad, but hey, you can't win them all.
That was pretty tense for Red, though. You could see Rain waiting in the tri-bush, hoping to catch out either Zayed or Maul. It's luckily that neither of them walked close enough for the full combo. Otherwise, that would have been a kill.
The mind games of Yamichi. He walks in by himself. Rain would not be able to get there in time, but he finds it! The mind games, it worked out! He thought it was in the lower brush, but instead, Rain was waiting in the tri-brush for someone to face check it. More than enough damage. A nice play from Team LINATIX.
Typically, you wouldn't want to catch out a tank with that combo, but any kill is worth for LINATIX right now. They have a 3k net worth lead, and now Amal is going to be taunting Red Esports right to their faces, actually.
Yep, the mind games once again. Emal is going to start the engagement on RenQT, knowing that Khalid is going to join him real soon. Tempest of Blades being used, but Goldilocks tells him to back off. You don't need to do any more than this. We have got what we came for, as Rain now waiting to ambush somebody else. Bad impact doesn't connect. Rain gets out just in time.
Good response from Miro to get the stun, forcing out the Ocean Oddity from Rain. Amal, does he secure that? He actually did!
Wow.
He stole the purple buff from Zayed from the wall!
Big Sag. Big Sag there. Unfortunately for Red Esports, Zayed is going to be walking away with no purple buff for himself. It's not like he has a mana issue.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, the Raging Sandstorm. But why? Why did you go for this? It would have looked cool, yes. Would you have secured a kill? Maybe?
A lot of much respect for Goldilocks, though. Just going for that is just a really big ego challenge from the man. And even though, admittedly, it really wasn't a good idea, a big props to him for trying to do that on the MPL stage. However, with his death, he does set up a distraction for Red Esports. They're gonna take the top tower in exchange for this turtle. And now Yamichi, he's looking for RenQT. 3-man gank, nice 2-man knockout from the Yuzong. They do finally catch him, but it sure took a lot of effort.
Oh, that's so sad, but the killing spree, Cecilio gets one shot, and Goldilocks is able to find Zayed. He's out-leveled him and is using his lane advantage against him. Zayed cannot breathe as Goldilocks looks to try and protect this tier 2. Mid-tier 1 falls, and now the snowball is out of Red Esports' hands. Team LINATIX with a 5k gold lead, looking to crash it against tier 2s.
The instant increase in tempo from Team LINATIX, they knew they had an opportunity in front of them and took full use of it, picking up multiple catches across the map and even securing a few structures for themselves with the mobility from the Ling. They can see now that Red Esports is going to be mainly playing as Vibe, and this is their strongest positioning overall, but they are quite behind in terms of network.
Now here's the problem for Team LINATIX, right? They have to take the initiative, they have to use the snowball to punish Red Esports, and they're doing just fine. but there is a limit. There is a clock. RenQT getting some good damage on Yamichi, isn't able to proc the Sha residue, but Red Esports understands they will eventually outscale them.
The problem right now is they've already been forced basically to reside in their base exclusively for the rest of the game, so it depends how much scaling they can get. Concealed play from Yamichi, but a good read from Red Esports to be able to escape from that. We can see the items right now. So far, Red Esports only really has 2 items complete on their main cores, whereas if we look at Amal, he's definitely the richest person on the map right now, already completing 3 items, and these are not cheap either.
Yeah, these are not cheap items at all. Oh, I hate to be in Team Lunatix's position because, unfortunately, as much as they want to take the initiative, if they fail and they get wiped out, that's a 5k gold swing in favor of Red Esports, and all that early game work was for naught.
That's why they gotta be able to maintain that discipline here. First Lord going to finally spawn on the Land of Dawn, and Team Lunatics are in a very comfortable position to go for this. So I imagine they will prioritize it, but this is the first Lord. I don't think they're gonna get much structural damage over this. They need to come up with a plan to break through the base of Red Esports.
The problem is that Team Lunatics can't wait for the 12-minute mark. They have to press the advantage. They have to take every little thing. Wait, RenQT. Oh, Yamichi can die! He doesn't get the auto attack off. He gets the recall for free. Oh, that's a feel. That's so annoying. That's so annoying. Mint purchasing a Scarlet Phantom for himself. He's got more than enough crit damage now.
Mint is definitely going to be dishing out a lot of DPS, but you can see that he has 2 deaths on this Aerotel. Red Esports has definitely been prioritizing this hero on the side of Team Lunatics so far, so they need to be able to maintain better positioning to ensure that they make full use of the farm that their gold laner has been able to accrue.
Yeah, Red Esports, however, are looking to push Goldilocks outside. Oh, wait, the Petrify actually lands. He's caught. He can't get out of there. Even the Quicksand Guard is not enough. As Red Esports find their pick, they move on backwards. Now Team Lunatics, a man down with a Lord Wave pushing as well. This is such bad timing.
A beautiful hit and run by Red Esports, but that's not going to deter Team Lunatics. They want to get structures with this Lord push. They've already taken out the final external tower for Red, and now they want to see if they can take an inhibitor as well. Red Esports, they have to be careful not to group up too much. Yamichi jumping in. That's a nice Ikundo onto Maul with the Petrify. Unstoppable. Going over to Amal. They break open the inhibitor. Numenum Blast gonna miss completely. RenQT dropping real low, but he escapes, and Team Lunatics will pick up what they got. They're now going for another inhibitor as well, and looks like they will secure it. They sacrifice Yamichi for that, but I don't think they mind at all.
Yeah, I think this is hugely worth it for the first Lord of the game to get 2 inhibitors on top of mid-tier 2. They sacrifice 3 of their members, getting a kill onto Mao on top of it. Lunatics, whew, they're living up to their brand name. They're crazy.
That's just insane, the concealed play from Yamichi. Someone needs to teach me how you get a 3-man Jeet Kune Do, and then out of everyone, you kick Maul. How do you even pick that target in that massive pile?
He didn't even use his flicker. That's what I don't get. I don't get how Red Esports kind of allowed Yamichi to walk in where they just did they not see him? Is he unfocused? And even with the conceal, you can kind of see their after image walking towards you. So like, I don't know. Red Esports, they definitely dropped the ball there.
I think they just had too much on their minds there, but that's an amazing Lord push advantage. 20k damage with the first Lord, and now they get the pick off at RenQT. They say, well, you picked off Goldilocks last time. Here is our revenge story. They're aiming for that final inhibitor.
Yeah, just like how we saw in that Lord advantage, we did see a 2k gold swing, and now Team Lunatics are in prime position. A lot of teams aren't able to make it out. It's 42 to 32 right now. That's basically, if we rounded up, a 10k gold lead. Team Lunatics basically can win as many fights as they want, and Red Esports just have to take it.
But we have seen teams come back from this sort of deficit before in the past, and I think if any team is going to do it, it is going to be Red Esports. They are most comfortable once they hit that late game and can take these big 5v5s. They're now engaging to try and take the Lord.
Yep. Way of the Dragon, just to kick Miro out of position. They're not looking to fight. They're looking to keep all their members alive and to get that final push down. This is going to be crunch time for Red Esports.
now we officially have a 10k lead for Team LINATIX. You could see that Zayed as well not able to safely contest for his purple buff at all. So Amal, we've seen a lot of Lings in the past be constantly pressured by the enemy teams stealing their purple buff away, but Amal, he is not in that position. He is very comfortable, 6-0 on this Ling.
Yeah, he's really far ahead, and now they're going to have to sync up these waves. Yumichi not touching in the mid wave as they synchronize it. Yes, perfect. Everything crashing in at the same time. Last inhibitor will fall as Ren QT turns into a Black Dragon and looks to try and push them away. But Red Esports unfortunately can't do too much as the Tempest of Blades hits the backline. They get the kill onto the carry and look to finish it off. GG, well played. Team LINATIX take game number 2.
A great base rush by Team LINATIX, just perfectly matching up all 3 waves at once. That's probably the person overall.
Yep.
But you do sometimes forget that Zayed, this is only his 2nd season here in MPL as well, so he's still got a lot to prove. But now that the drafting phase is officially commencing, we are gonna be preparing to enter game number 3.
Once again, Team LINATIX going to be on the blue side with Red Esports on the red side. Same bans all across the board. Valentina Fanny for Red Esports, Mashan as well as Wanwan for Team LINATIX. Do we see the Akai band, however?
Well, it worked out for them in game number 2, so if it's not broken, don't fix it. Team LINATIX gonna be sticking to that. Red Esports, they banned out the Fairness in this situation last game. Will they continue on with that?
Oh, Respect, I respect that. They banned out the Ling this time, and you can see that on Team LINATIX's face, they're like, yeah, they're scared, they're nervous because they let go of Faramis.
What is interesting is the fact that despite this hero having 6 picks and 22 bans, he only has a 17% win rate. That's kind of abysmal considering how meta the hero seems to be right now.
Well, let's not also talk about like its death per kill rate. I wish we had a stat for that because Faramis dies a lot, like so many times. But the thing is, with Faramis, this is a big enabler for dive comps, for big daddy comps that want to run you down and not be scared. Similar to Diggy, but brings a lot more utility in terms of just having big beefy tanks that can sustain. Red Esports, they respond with Beatrix. We're not seeing Carry this time, and as well as Ash on his signature Lilia.
Looks like Red Esports are in serious mode now. Gonna be finally going for the Beatrix instead of the Carry, but instantly the double signature pick response. Khalid currently 100% win rate on Goldilocks and Mint. We're gonna be seeing that Brody once again.
I'm surprised that Team LINATIX didn't look to pick up a jungler just yet, but Red Esports going to be denying an enabler, making sure that Yumichi isn't going to start causing havoc in that backline and looking for those big picks, especially since Ash is playing Lilia. You can die before you can hit that black shoes.
Indeed, that's something they gotta watch out for. Red Esports now actually gonna be banning out the Sicilian for themselves, and I am kind of curious about this Cho pickup. In terms of the player hero pool on Red, it does feel like this is going to be Ren QT's hero because I don't think we've gotten to see Muriel playing on the show yet. And if this does go into the EXP lane, it's gonna have kind of a hard time against the Khalid.
Yeah, a little bit of a hard time. I'm thinking of matchups against Khalid that's actually favorable for Ren. Uranus out of the picture, Esmeralda out of the picture too. Generally, it's a high damage. I mean, I would have expected Ren QT to do pretty well on the Yute song, but it looks like Goldilocks really understands his position, the position and how to trade from early as well as mid game.
I think the Bandidetta is a good shout. That is a hero that would have a pretty okay time against the Khalid. So Team LINATIX, again, focusing on that EXP lane. They want to make sure that Goldilocks can extend his lead in the lane to map pressure as Red Esports continues focusing down on possible Rain hero picks, banning out the Eve here. So it looks like they're anticipating that this is going to be Yamichi's Faramis instead.
I think, it's most likely going to be Yamichi here. I feel like for the LINATIX, going for the Kadita again doesn't seem too bad. However, Red Esports, I do think the Cho can be flexed. Ren QT has played Cho before, and I don't think that's too bad of a matchup against the Khalid, which does suggest that maybe Team LINATIX might want to ban out, either the Diggy or the Franco here.
I actually still think this is going to be Rain's Faramis here. I think we could see a Yamichi Kufra.
Ooh. Yumichi Kufra. Let's see what Red Esports' first pick is. I'm like 50-50 on Kufra right now. Ooh, you know what?
I'm like more.
I'm like 75%. I'm like 75% of the way now. Paquito, not bad. However, Team Lunatics can look to counter it.
Yep, if they go for the Kufra here, I think it would work really well. It obviously means a little less damage in the late game since Faramis, his scaling is gonna be a little less than other mages, but not by much. I think it's still a pretty balanced comp, and they are still looking for a jungler for Amal as well. Wondering what they might go for. We are seeing that Yi-Sun-Shin there.
That's the thing, he's hovering over it. He did that the last time but changed at the last second. So that I'm not 100% sure. Could be hovering over fighters. I'm not 100% sure where it's going to go, but I'm seeing the Kufra already getting locked in. Yes, Lancelot! Finally, I get to cast a game with Lancelot in it. He already has 100% win rate, 2 picks, 3 bans.
I think that means that Team Lunatics actually has 3 heroes with 100% win rates on their lineup right now. A lot of pressure on them to see if they can keep these percentages maxed out. Red Esports now going to be looking for their final pickup, and we can also confirm whether or not this is an EXP show or a roam show, because we actually are not certain of that yet.
I think taking the Thamus here wouldn't be too bad for Red Esports, honestly, because if you get Cho in that side lane, you're not going to have as much impact, but instead, they are going to go for the Atlas. So if you want to dive us, we have tools to try and stop you and maybe turn this fight around, because we know how Atlas really is a table flipper for team fights.
This is going to come down very heavily to how each team wants to take the fight and how they approach it, because there's a lot of team fight capability on both of these lineups. The Cult Altar comboed with the Kufra is going to be really strong, especially with the Khalid jumping in as well. But if they set themselves up for the Fatal Links, that's a very easy kill score for the AoE damage coming out of Beatrix, the AoE coming out of Lilia. So Team Lunatics need to not fall into that sort of trap. As we now prepare to enter the final game of the series, recapping the lineups once again, Team Lunatics still going for that dive composition. But if we're talking about late game, it is all Red Esports, ladies and gentlemen. Will the Fatal Links be the final nail in the coffin for Team Lunatics, or will the brand new upstarts show us an upset here against a veteran MPL team?
Welcome back to the Land of Dawn for game number 3. Shucks, that's some awkward timing. That's an awkward time for a game pause here. Well, this gives us a little bit of time, because I feel like the name of the game for Team Lunatics is how much value are you going to get from the Cult Altar. The temporary HP, or how I like to call it, temp HP, it's not bad, but if you get hit by that by the perfect match into the Fatal Links, is that going to be enough to really change the tides?
Typically, yes, it would be enough, simply because when that temporary HP is destroyed from the Cult Altar, it takes a moment before you're actually able to DPS them again. But in this case, if too many of them get caught in the Fatal Links, it sets up perfectly for a Nibiru's Passion, which is going to do a lot of damage, and they want to avoid that at all costs. So it does kind of put a wrench in the plans of Team Lunatics. They can't exactly front to back it. They can't just jump in willy-nilly without concern for themselves. They have to make sure they catch out the DPSs before they are threatened by the Fatal Links.
Oh, but that's the thing. I feel like if you call Altar and you get hit by the full combo of Fatal Links, I don't think that's enough to take away the temp HP. So that brings up the next question. Somebody else is going to have to chunk out the temp HP so that Nibiru's Passion is going to get maximum value. Because you don't want to, like, oh, Nibiru's Passion, the person goes down, becomes invulnerable for a second, comes back to life, and Nibiru's Passion is done.
Well, if you set up for a good 4-man knockout strike, that's pretty good as well.
That's money. That is money. All right, let's see how this game goes, because immediately you are seeing Yamichi looking to punish this early. Miles getting very early trades. He's not even in lane, and Yamichi probably going to be forced to recall very soon, as Goldilocks and Ren QT, they are not backing down from this street brawl. Ash, however, cannot afford to die.
I do like the slight sort of change from Red Esports there, rotating Mal over to dual damage to the Kufra, but Yamichi already forcing Zayed to use his retribution on a regular jungle camp. Not gonna have that up for the purple buff, which means Goldilocks can threaten it and just chase the Paquito away.
Yes, this is what we want to see. Zide uses Retribution so early, and now they're looking for this punish. Emal is going to get it. Ash, and as well as Hakimi are looking to try and take out Yamichi, who turns a different direction, but Goldilocks finds first blood, goes for a second. Emal unable to finish it off, but now Mural is all by himself. They were able to get the trade back on Yamichi, but losing out on Ren QT, on the EXP lane is going to put Goldilocks in an amazingly good position.
Yeah, that's a massive trade for Team LINATIX. Ordinarily, trading the EXP lane for the tank isn't actually that big of a difference, but when you are in a situation where you have to go even against something like a Khalid, a little bit of EXP difference is going to make a lot of difference for Ren QT. Luckily, the lane did kind of build up there, so he still has both of the EXP cannon minions.
Yeah, that's a little sad, I'm not gonna lie, but as you were mentioning earlier, the slight EXP leads, most people are gonna think, oh yeah, but then you're not really, there's not gonna be much of a difference in the stats. However, it does make a difference in terms of who gets the next level first. Now, Yamichi is gonna get attacked here as the retaliation from Red Esports is successful, giving Zide the kill he needs to get back into this game. Yamichi pays the price as Red Esports will dive the top side. Mint actually flickering away, and it's going to be a perfect combo. Torn apart memories with the help of the Ghostbuster from Fire Mist to secure the kill on Mural.
That was beautifully timed by Mint, flickering behind Zayed the moment he used jab. That is a timing you usually will not be able to catch out on. They secured a kill onto Mural, and not only that, because most of Red Esports was up in the top lane, Amal got the turtle for free.
Yep. Now, Team LINATIX looking to punish one more time here, and I think Mural has been given the signal. He is waiting patiently, knowing that Team LINATIX are looking to make something happen on top side. However, TL, I think they're very aware and understand the behaviors now. They can kind of read this.
Yeah, and Ash, I think he's aware of where they might be in the bush as well. Mural now jumping in, but the perfect match is gone. Yamichi still has to be careful about engaging though. Fatal Links is still available. They're trying to use the Lancelot as bait to force the Beatrix and Atlas to come closer, but they are giving up a lot of priority in the bottom side as well.
Exactly. This is taking way too long, and Red Esports knows for a fact of how many people are up top side if your EXP laner rotates to mid. So this is, again, it's all about patience, but Team LINATIX looking for the engagement. Mural with the perfect match, looking for an opportunity. He still has that Fatal Links, though. He could look to turn this around. He finds two. Temp HP comes up with the Cult Altar, played perfectly coming in from Rain as he tries to back away. Zayed is going to put a lot of trouble as they already lost Lancelot. Now Mint on the run, tries to get away, but Zayed refuses to let him run any further. That is going to be the turnaround for Red Esports.
A disaster for Team LINATIX means a great boon for Red. They took that fight perfectly. This is what we talked about. The way you engage and initiate these fights determines everything in this sort of lineup, and that means a lot of farm going over to Maul on this Beatrix.
Yeah, well, in the meantime, Goldilocks is going to be stealing away camps, and he is going to use his Raging Sandstorm to get on out of there. He is not afforded. He is not letting this get to him for now. He's playing very individualistically, but that's what you want to do as Khalid. You will look for any advantage to get ahead, to give yourself that bit of edge for the upcoming fight. But RenQT makes the play onto Yamichi, getting a great kick. Yamichi forced the flicker out, losing out on an important battle spell.
I like this increased tempo from Red Esports. They are threatening Team LINATIX on every front because they know that they now have the gold advantage, no matter how slight it may be. And if they can continue this sort of pressure, it's going to be very difficult for Team LINATIX to make up for that difference in momentum.
But TL are already on the turtle. Red Esports could look to contest here. Unfortunately, doesn't fall into the hands of Zayed, who ends up dying. The Cult Altar to protect the rest of the team. They back off, and Red Esports, unfortunately, bite on the bait.
But in the top lane, there's an engagement onto Mint. He's nearly taking out Mural, but it's not quite enough. I saw from what happened on the mini-map, he did try to flicker out of the Fatal Links, but you don't flicker out of Fatal Links. And now LINATIX trying to make an attempt on bottom side. We can see a Raging Sandstorm landing on top of Ash, forcing out the Black Shoes, but now Goldilocks is taking a lot of damage from the Lilia, forced to use the Quicksand Guard. Amal now jumping in. He knows that Ash doesn't have his revive, but Zayed is right there. The 1-2 combo executes the Lancelot. A nice Tyrant's Rage from Yamichi, but it's not enough. It's going to be right after Goldilocks falls to red. And now here comes Muriel tanking the tower. Triple kill going to Zayed.
That's what you want to see from Red Esports. Now they are changing the game plan. They're not dedicating all their resources to the gold lane. They are allowing Zayed to play his game.
This is pretty bad for Team LINATIX now. 6 minutes in, a 2.5k lead for Red Esports. And we already mentioned that LINATIX with their lineup needs to secure that early game lead. They don't scale nearly as well as Red. And that means that something needs to happen pretty soon, or Red are gonna walk away with this game.
Oh, Ghostbuster's gonna be pulling back here with the Shadow Stampede, but Zayed, he's trying to get away. Unfortunately, it's gonna be Muriel pulling back into Nibiru's passion. Goldilocks, unfortunately, Sandstorm Guard is all his Quicksand Guard is only gonna hold for so long as Mal picks up a triple. Red Esports changing up the play style, going back and forth.
That's the combo we were talking about. Fatal links into Nibiru's passion, not even giving them a chance to pop that cult altar. Red Esports has instantly turned their lead into full map control. Nearly 4k net worth lead for Red. Turtle coming up. LINATIX in no position to contest.
This is what I wanted to see from Red Esports for a long time. They cannot just keep playing for Mal. They need to be able to utilize their time better, and this is the results of it. They're looking for good fights, but now Ren QT able to dodge the initial engagement with his Shunpo, and now he's looking for an opportunity to get on top of Mint. He's zoning him up, but here comes Miro with the Fatal Links. Cult Altar already popped into the combo. The Cult Altar valuably used, but the third hit of G Kundo is gonna stop any kind of retreat. Zayed pushing the mid lane as Ren QT kicks Mint. He's trapped. He gets pulled back. It's too late for him, but the rest of Red now in some trouble as Goldilocks is able to get some good damage, but Miro gets away. Here comes Emal. He wants to get a kill, but unfortunately, it's too late. Dodges the last shot coming in from Mal.
My goodness, that was tense from both these teams. A nice engagement with the Fatal Links, but this is the power of the Cult Altar. Because the Nibiru's Passion was used to take out the temporary HP, it wasn't enough to kill them. And that last kick from Ren QT, that was just an unfortunate mechanical misplay. You could see that he tried to flicker to kick him in the other direction, but it didn't quite work out for him.
Yeah, I mean, he tried, but let's not forget that Mint, he's got some fast fingers too. Mint was able to kind of flicker into his own position, and that kind of made the angle really, really awkward. Ren QT should have been careful, and I think he was spamming the Way of the Dragon pretty hard there. Let's have a look at the items, though.
We can see that right now, Red Esports in a pretty comfortable spot. Mal already having his VOD and Malefic Roar 6-0 on the Beatrix. So he is pretty farmed in comparison. You can see that Mint only having just picked up his VOD, being forced to build slightly more defensive items to ensure he can survive.
All right. I would say right now Red Esports isn't in a position where everybody has hit their power spike just yet. And I think even for Team LINATIX, they understand that, yeah, we're going to have to give away a couple of these turrets. There's no real point in contesting them until we get them where we want them, which is going to be this upcoming Lord fight. But now, Red Esports looking to make the play here. Muriel, unfortunately, doesn't find anybody. Yumichi finds it, though. However, he gets pulled back by the Fatal Links. The temp HP from the Cult Altar. It's going to be enough as the Raging Sandstorm cancels on Nibiru's Passion, and they turn this around. Emal dashing with the Thorn Rose already finds 2, but they need to get 1 more to even up the odds. They don't find it yet.
That was crazy right there. I don't even know how to describe what happened, but you could see that there was an attempt onto Mal there, and the Tyrant's Rage actually nearly caught out the Beatrix, but the Fatal Links from Muriel was perfectly timed to disrupt the Kufra, keeping not only the Beatrix alive, but the Nibiru's Passion up to instantly clear up the temporary HP on all 5 members of Team LINATIX. It does look like we're going to be getting an instant replay of that as well.
Yeah, let's see it one more time, because again, when we saw it happen, it was just too late. And even when the second cast after the initial, Yumichi still has his ult. He was not able to get his ult off. That would have been a huge game changer for Team LINATIX. But now it's all up to Red to take control over this Lord Pit.
That trade, however, did reduce their net worth lead to only 1.5k, so they're still able to make engagements. You can see they're now going on top of mid. Fatal Links finds the Brody, but Yamichi is stopping Zayed from engaging, meaning that Atlas is out of position. Cult Altar is out. Miro is down. Tyrant's range onto Zayed means that his is going to go down. Shut down onto Ash. Double kill going over the mid. They're jumping in on Rank QT. Way of the Dragon. Will it keep him alive?
Ooh.
No! He dies to the passive damage. Double kill picked up by Amal.
Nicely done. Emal, he did use his retribution to finish off Ren QT, who had barely any HP left. A very good play coming in from Team LINATIX, and an unfortunate mishap for Red Esports. This Lord falls into the hands of TL.
That's a bit uncharacteristic of Red Esports. They're just a mistake. Miral wanted to catch out Min, but Yamichi, knowing he can't stop the Fatal Link, stops the follow-up damage instead. And once they know that a bunch of cooldowns have been used, instantly re-engaged with the Cult Altar. No setup for the Nibiru's Passion this time. The net worth lead is now in LINATIX's favor.
Yep, fleeting time already purchased here by Rain. The kick comes onto Yamichi, who flickers on out of there. A good initial punish, but I don't know. It doesn't feel too worth it to me. They're going to still lose this Tier 2. Red Esports, unfortunately, don't want to risk it for the biscuit as the Lord Empowered minions are slowly creeping in.
What a turnaround this has suddenly been, but we can't stop holding our breath just yet. Red Esports still can come back from this 2k lead for LINATIX. They now want to take this next tower. They will take the Tier 2 mid. Lord should guarantee the Tier 2 top as well. Will LINATIX be able to pick up inhibitors?
Well, let's find out. They did it the last time. Maybe they can do it again. They use the concealed. They're trying to go. Penetrate is already out. They find the initial hit, but the Cult Altar is going to go for the protection. Unfortunately, it's going to be Mal who is able to get the kills. Flickers away, saves his life. Unfortunately for Emal, doesn't find the execution, but this does mean that they get 2 inhibitors for a trade. Do they want to go in some more? Emal, he's playing it very carefully. He has nothing to dash to just yet. And Red Esports, the punishment has been laid upon them.
LINATIX might actually want to go for one more here. They're shoving out another wave, but okay, that's smart. They don't want to go for that again, but that was a beautiful engagement. Yamichi jumping in, finding a 2-man Tyrant's Rage. Unfortunately, the tower is not fat enough, so they didn't get stunned, but the shift in position was enough to catch Red Esports out of guard.
Yep, it's taking the opportunities. The mini stuns just stopping them in their tracks. I mean, that's why Grok's knockup with the Wild Charge is so good, even though you don't necessarily get the mega stun when you collide with a wall. But looking at the items so far, you can definitely tell the differences here, as Team LINATIX now on their 4th item compared to Red Esports, who are still stuck on their 3rd. They have enough components. Some of them have their 4th item, but not everybody.
We can see that Maul and Ash are still at the top of the damage dealt rankings as well, but Goldie Luck is actually the one doing the most DPS on Team LINATIX. Again, the Khalid on this player needs to be respected, and that is 36,000 tower damage with the first Lord push of the game. That's gotta be a new record.
Yeah, with a 4k goal earned in that time. Nicely done by Team LINATIX here. Red Esports getting close to their next item power spike with 13 seconds left on the clock before the next Luminous Lord is going to spawn.
This is going to be an important one here. If LINATIX claims this Lord, they can probably end the game right there. So Red cannot give this over to them. We can see it from their positioning. They're making an attempt over from the river side. Not aware. Yamichi's behind them. He fights Maul. He fights 2 with Tyrant's Rage. Cult Altar going to be popped. A kill on the Maul instantly. Miro follows very quickly. The stun from Ren QT will be able to keep alive with the flicker, but not enough. Mega kill going to Amal.
Huge play coming in from Yamichi. A well-timed flank, and Red Esports didn't check their homework. Ash uses the Black Shoes, falls back into TL, and they get sucked in by the Shadow Stampede. TL looking to end this game as they take out Zion. It's a 2-1 victory. GG, well played.
The comeback from the newbies have shown the veterans exactly what they've got to bring. The MPL Season 10. That was a game for the ages. That was the game they were looking for.
That shows you the value of the Cult Altar. Doesn't matter if you got Fatal Links. Doesn't matter if you have Nibiru's Passion.